I have a rare day off, and I'm going to spend it, well, working on videos. Yay! Anyway, I've never done like a weekend build, so I thought I'd try building a model in one, probably 2 days. And the subject for this build is a Petit guy, future pink. What this is, it's a Gundam model that's a pink bear. I don't know why. It's Japanese. That's the only logical reason that you can use to explain this. Why is it a pink robo bear? Because it's Japanese. So, yeah. So Petit guy, future pink. They make a lot of these. There's a whole bear family of these guys. I don't know if there's pictures of the other ones here. There isn't, but well, there's some on the back, but it's black and white. So they have sword with wings, and a pirate one. Oh, with a hook. Even more confusing stuff. Oh my God! He's got a Gundam guy. He has a bear on his back. Anyway, it's weird stuff because it's Japan. So I picked this one because, oh my God, that is a freaking neon pink. Good Lord. I picked this one just as mainly because I wanted to do a little bit more work, more battle damage to this, and you know, why not battle damage a bear? Sounds like a good idea. So, like I said, we're gonna put this together and hopefully get this all done in one weekend. So, the build part, I don't think is gonna take that long. We're gonna mainly concentrate on the weathering. So, I will be back in a moment once I put this together. Appears to be only about 20 pieces or so shouldn't take too long. I'm not going to go over the whole build here because you know how this is. You take the parts off and you sand them down and you stick them all together. But what I am doing is planning not on painting this. I'm just going to be weathering it. So I know this is something that Gundam modelers do, but I'm just sanding down the parts very lightly with some 1000 grit sandpaper. Just to get the plastic sheen off of it, which is going to help with the weathering and makes it look a bit more, dare I use the word, realistic for our pink robo bear. But the pieces itself, I don't know what it is, the plastic or something, but the pieces are like falling off of the sprue. The plastic here is a little bit brittle, and I'm not sure why. And I have a little problem right here, which I'll have to deal with because since I'm not painting it, I can't putty anything. So I'm trying to be very careful of pulling the pieces off, but that one just kind of fell off and left a hole. But pre-sanding the parts before I put them together, and then I'm doing it afterwards just to, you know, make sure everything's all nice and even. But head's done there. Just have to get the rest together. On to painting the bear. I painted the bow on the back. Unfortunately in the kit, all the pictures shows the bow red, but this kit is only 2 colors, pink and white. So the bow is white. I decided to paint it red, and then I proceeded to snap it in half when I tried pulling it off to paint it. So yeah, had to fix that, wait for the putty to dry, and then paint it Vallejo model color flat red. Starting on the weathering with chips, paint chips. And this is just white with a little bit of game color squid pink mixed in. The problem here, I'm using a #1 brush and just kind of dancing it across the surface, which is the best description I can give you. The problem is chips normally are best placed on edges, corners, things are going to get where paint's going to get rubbed off, or where there's a lot of action happening, you know, around hatches and all that. Every surface on this thing is round, though, so deciding where to put chips is a little difficult. I'm just kind of putting it wherever, you know, where I would normally put them on the ends of things, like the ends of the arms. But yeah, it's a little bit problematic here. So you can also do this with a torn bit of sponge, makeup sponge. But I've decided to be a bit more precise and just use my brush. So this is step 1 of doing all the chippies. I occasionally do a big chip and then like do a bunch of little small ones around it. Gotta be careful I don't do too many. I don't want to do a universal, you know, the same amount of chips over the whole thing. Concentration here, concentration there. And hopefully that'll look a bit more realistic on this robotic pink bear. Changed my mind, decided to do a little bit of sponging. Oops, damn it. Screwed that one up right there, hang on. Decided to do a little bit of sponging, work for the damage. So just a little makeup sponge and that same pink-white combo I used. Just using it on some of the areas I already put some scratches to soften them up a little bit. Sort of blend them in. Again, trying to figure out where to put scratches on this thing is a little difficult. So, there we go. He's a little beat up. Step 2 is Panzer Ace's Dark Rust, and I'm putting it over the white pink, and I mean that over as in on top of, and by that I mean on top, so the white and then the dark rust. So the white underneath gives the dark rust some depth. It's a little stark right now. I don't normally add chips to something that's bright pink, so it kind of look like ants crawling all over it at the moment. I'm hoping once I put all the washes on and all that, it will darken up. Right now it's looking not that great. I maybe should have used a lighter color for the rust here. I'm going to keep going and see what we get at the end. For the white, we have a problem. We can't go lighter for the chips. So what we do instead is we go darker. So I did cold gray in random spots, and then on top of the cold gray, now I am doing the Panzer Ace's Dark Rust. And I'm really not liking this right now because I just got chips everywhere. And again, it looks like frickin' ants. Trying to chip this thing is a pain in the ass. I'm gonna keep going with this, and if you're seeing this video right now, I fixed it along the way, because if I can't figure out a better way to do this, I'm gonna have to scrap this whole idea. Because yeah, I'm not happy. I did what I wanted to try to avoid, and that was to do an overall streaking grime coat through the airbrush and cover up everything. I used a mix of, let's see here, AK number 12, streaking grime for dark yellow, and dark brown wash. Oops, get that in the camera. There we go. And I didn't want to do this because A, it's going to take forever to dry, and it's going to really darken everything. You see it kind of turn the pink into a little bit more fleshy color here. Also, because I didn't put a gloss coat down, I'm trying to avoid that. It's going to be a little difficult to get off. It's also kind of sticking into some of the scratches left from the sanding, which I didn't account for that. However, it is kind of taking care of the ant look from the paint chips that I did. But we're going to do this for a while, and I'm going to take some thinner on the upper parts and clean off even more there. But I probably should have glued everything in place. Also, what I needed to do the wash for was to get in the recesses really well, and oh boy, I just noticed I missed one right there, because like the area between the legs, kind of hard to weather that without getting in with an airbrush and really darkening that area. A couple different ways I could have done it, but I went with the overall wash. Also, if I forgot to mention it, this other issue is the drying time. Now I have to wait 24 hours for this whole thing to dry, which is gonna... Well, there goes my weekend project. This is gonna turn into a week project now. On to some rust streaks now, and as I just ruined that one, just add a few rust streaks to some of the larger rust areas. Add a bit more caricature. to our robo bear. Kind of screwed up on that overall wash. This is why you normally do it over a gloss coat, so you get a nice smooth transition. You can see here, because the surface area is kind of different because of the sanding wasn't completely even. Got some areas where it's kind of blotchy, or I took off more off on the side than I did on the top, where I wanted to get rid of it, so that's not looking good. Hopefully by the time I add the rest of the weathering, that will be taken care of. But right now, rust streaks, let them dry for a few minutes, and then just narrowing them and fixing their size with the Q-tip. We are at the I'm trying to fix this stage. Yeah, I'm adding some decals, and initially I didn't plan on doing this. Here's the deal with this whole project. I kind of read up on Gundam models, and people who build those tend not to paint them. Instead, I found out what they do is either they sand down the plastic lightly, like what I did, to get rid of that like fake plastic sheen, or they put a dull coat over it when they're done. I was trying that, but I was adding more weathering to it. Trying to mesh the two techniques together didn't work too well. As you can see with the wash, it got kind of blotchy and filled in all the sand marks. I initially did not want to add decals because I didn't want to put a gloss coat over it, because that's putting down the gloss, and then the dull kind of defeats the whole purpose of trying the dull on the straight plastic, which is what I wanted to do. But yeah, I need to punch it up now, and so now I'm applying decals, which I am doing in the wrong order. You want to do decals before you do the weathering, so they get weathered in. But I need to add something to it now, so we are now changing this into a regular build. We're already on day 3 here, and I had to wait for the gloss to dry and all that, so I want to hopefully get this done in 4 days, because I'm not going to spend a whole week building a damn pink bear. But yeah, adding decals right now. And I actually have a lot of little Gundam decals. So, from my local store, get them free with purchase. I got this, and I got something, I think these are from Dust. I can't remember exactly where I got these. But yeah, we're going to add some badass decals to our bear. And I'm going to put some numbers on the side of his head. I think that'll look cool. So I'm going to play around with a few decals, put them on, and then hopefully wrap this up tomorrow. In case you don't know how to do decals, gloss coats, and then if the decal cooperates, there we go, slide it off. There's all sorts of different little decal solvents, microset and microsol and decal softener, and all these little things you can buy. A lot of times you don't even need them. If you have a very smooth gloss coat, all you need is water to put decals down. You only need those when it's a rough surface. You know, if you have some sort of obstruction underneath, then yeah, go ahead and give them a shot. But otherwise, glossy surface and water, and you're good to go. If it's a little, if you do somehow end up with a bubble, then you can pop the bubble and put a little microsol on it. But yeah, there we go. So I have to let this dry for about an hour and then gloss coat them, and then we'll continue on with our Wehrmacht bear suit thing. Decals are set. Figure's been dull coated once, and finally doing dust effect here with some AK-15 dust effects. And this is the same application basically as with the washes and all the streaking grinds. Just trying to do some dust on top. Actually, I probably shouldn't put dust there on the arm because, oh, what the hell, put some there too. Because that arm wouldn't be in the up position all the time. But pretty much done here. I'm just going to do this and let it dry, wipe it off with a Q-tip like we already did with the other stuff. And then call it quits. 4-day build, a couple hours total actually. This pretty much dispels any notion that I knew what I'm doing, but each project you do, it's something you learn something new. So I was experimenting with the old sandpaper and working over the straight bare plastic, and now I know what can and cannot be done in regards to that. So the next time I paint up a Japanese robo bear suit, I'll know much better. And after a flat coat, we are done with our little robo bear. Our little quick weekend project turned into a couple extra days because I gotta be me and I gotta make things complicated and put way too many techniques into a tiny little pink bear. But you know, I learned some new things. I wanted to try it out with the sanding and you know, just weathering off of that. Realized no, it doesn't work. But the sanding does work, just not with the weathering. So even though this is a quick little dumb little pink bear, I learned a little bit and I could apply that to the next project. And it didn't take me a month to do, so it's done. I can move on to something else and put this on display somewhere with the rest of my Germans. But there you go, Petit guy, all finished.